The walls that I walk through torture my demons. The creeps in my conscience tell me it's okay. The bricks breathe and tell me not to do it. I walk through walls and people too, so they come do shit. The human.
Wait a second, we can't say words like that anymore in these videos. We are back with another episode of Mods Weekly. We're going to just jump right into this one. First and foremost, we have the Four Horsemen skull helms. What this mod's going to be all about is adding in 4 new helmets for you to wear on your character, each of them being based off the skull of a different creature. That being the Bird of the Plague, the Death Bunny, the Wendigo, which is like the one with the horns, and then the Dog of War, respectively. The skulls on this are actually really cool. They're basically meant to be something a raider or a tribal would have created, so the base being that skull, but in addition, there's sometimes weapons or other pieces of materials attached to the skull in other places. That to make it look a little bit more realistic, and I just really like the vibe the mod author went with this one. I feel like I really buy this as something raiders in Fallout 4 would wear. Unfortunately, it's not integrated into the level list, although maybe on like some legendary raiders, I think that'd be something quite cool to see. In addition, on a lesser note, there's actually wings that go along with this. They come in a small, medium, and large sizes. I'm not a huge fan of these. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys will enjoy them, but when you actually have them on your character and are running around with them, they look a little bit weird and kind of clunky. The large ones are like massive, which is pretty funny to run around with, but otherwise these small ones are way too small and the medium ones are just kind of awkward. Maybe if they had a jetpack implemented into them, that would be kind of cool. Maybe an update could bring that. Either way, a very interesting mod. This has a very different theme than some of the other armor mods you're going to find out there right now, and I kind of like this. I feel like it fits really well with the raider aesthetic that Fallout 4 does have. Then we do have a mod I showed you already, that being South of the Sea. This was actually just ported over to Xbox One, and this port report of the week is going to be sponsored by JuiceHead.net. Did you know that you could get any of these awesome, amazingly designed t-shirts for 15% off by using coupon code DAY1, which expires tonight at midnight Eastern Time? So if you're a Pacific user, you better act fast. Either way though, South of the Sea is a really cool mod, more or less expanding the glowing sea, adding in a ton of additional locations, which you could even just tell by looking at the minimap, but it's actually been getting a lot of updates, and again was ported over to Xbox One. These updates have added in new and even more intense locations. Some of them have like way more details, way more structures, and a lot of NPCs around this area. One thing that's really cool about this is some of them are combat related, like the one I'm showing you in the background, and those are some tough fights, but it's actually been expanded into some other areas. Now there's also a bunch of different traders you can encounter, and some new and custom NPCs, as well as using armors and weapons that did appear in some other mods, such as those Gatling plasma weapons you're seeing in the background. That's actually from another mod that this mod author did get permission for. It really has grown to become a pretty expansive mod. I feel like it's not getting nearly enough attention. What this mod really is doing now in its current state is kind of expanding Fallout 4's endgame. When you're a really high level and the normal NPCs are easy to you, going into the glowing sea now can provide a bunch of locations with a significant challenge. Do you know what people want in Fallout 4 modding, or at least what it seems like they want? Sim settlement leaders. If you guys don't know, Sim Settlements recently released its newest expansion, Rise and Fall, and with that you can actually assign leaders to your settlements that can run it and build it up. Each of these leaders having different perks and traits. Right now by vanilla, you can use the various companions in Fallout 4, but we got 4 new mods bringing new leaders to the table, and these were like 4 of the most popular downloaded mods this past week. So starting things off, we have Ted's Leader Pack. This is going to add in a bunch of additional vanilla leaders, people you probably encountered in your game, and if you do have either the settlement that does require them, or you just recruited them to your settlement in a different way, they now will be eligible to become a leader. Bunch of the people from like Sanctuary are in this, some of the other named NPCs at settlements you do rescue are in this. But maybe you hate vanilla Fallout 4, well we have something for you also. We also do have Settlers of the Commonwealth City Leaders. Settlers of the Commonwealth is a pretty popular mod, adding in a ton of new voice settlers that you can get at various locations in the Commonwealth. The voice acting on these is actually done really well. It's by 3D NPCs, which is like a standalone website that has their own high quality mods.
Grunt work, office work, just something with the word work in it.
What do you think about coming to work for me?
Really? Oh, on second thought, a map and some directions might be better. Don't want to get lost.
Tales of the Commonwealth is another one they brought to the table. I feel like this one actually makes a lot of sense because these are just settlers that have awesome voice acting behind them. They're otherwise fairly simple, but making them a leader actually makes it feel like they're a little bit more special and notable. And to be clear, this is a mod that's giving functionality to the Settlers of the Commonwealth mod. And then with another mod duo, we have Recruitable Leaders. This is going to make the mod Recruitable Settlers, or the settlers that mod adds in, also able to become leaders in your settlements. Recruitable Settlers is actually a little bit different. This has tiers of settlers, so they're going to be scattered around the map. Some of them are just basic settlers that you can recruit to your settlement, while some of the other ones, like the level 2 and level 3, have more beneficial things, like they're high-level shop owners, or have some really good equipment, but the higher the level, the more difficult it is to get them. Many of these actually have quests, and other ones are just heavily defended, like being in the Quincy jail, which is surrounded by high-level gunners. So you can have those guys to be your leaders. And then finally, we do have vanilla leaders, this adding in even more vanilla leaders from just basic Fallout 4. For whatever reason, the Vanilla Leaders mod and Ted's Leader Pack actually don't cover any of the same NPCs. They just are using two totally separate sets of vanilla NPCs from Fallout 4. So used in tandem, it actually has a pretty cool effect. It does exactly the same thing as the other one. It's just covering different NPCs that you can find throughout the Commonwealth. Some of these are like those miscellaneous NPCs that you do a short quest for, and at the end, rather than recruiting them as a companion, you just can recruit them for your settlement. So yeah, a lot of new leaders. If you wanted those, then you have 4 mods that bring that to the table. Yeah, I know, I showed you that intro already, but those things take a long time to actually create. Miltarized Minutemen came out this week. It was such a big release that I actually made a standalone video for it, so I'm just gonna kind of brush over it. If you want to see my original video, and it's an amazing video, so you should watch it, I will have that linked at the end of the video after the psych fun fact. But to give you a brief synopsis, more or less it's gonna add in a ton of new equipment for the Minutemen in Fallout 4. This really overhauls the faction. It makes them seem like a real military, where before they were kind of just, I don't know, useless. You could obviously use any of these pieces on your own character also, and there's a lot of customization options, but even beyond that, it actually creates new classes of Minutemen, which you can see all of them in the background. Again, if you want a more in-depth view, you could actually look at the original video, but since that original video, this mod has gotten some updates, one of them being FCOM support out of the box. Fallout Commander is a mod that basically allows you to command little squads of troops. It's fairly lore friendly at this point, requiring you to actually have certain quests completed to get access to those troops. So let's say you finish some of the castle quests in Fallout 4, now you can call in a little squad of Minutemen, and I feel like it makes a lot of sense this time around with the Militarized Minutemen mod, and it creates a really fun dynamic. Maybe use something else like War of the Commonwealth, so you have a ton of NPCs everywhere, but more NPCs on your side also. But that's pretty much it. It's a great mod. If you haven't downloaded it, go download it because it's awesome. One of the best mods we've had in the past 2 to 3 months. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. If you guys enjoyed, as always, I encourage you to leave a like or a comment. That helps with YouTube's internal rating system. But now for this like fun fact, we have kind of a hopeful or morbid one, depending on how old you are. Your intelligence is based on 2 different things, at least this is the leading theory on this. So you have a fluid IQ, which is like your ability to problem solve, to kind of figure things out, if you will, and to kind of adapt to new situations. Then you do have your crystallized IQ, which is your ability to use previous knowledge currently. So kind of just more things you remember and recall based on past experiences, where fluid IQ is way more dynamic and changing on the go. For most people, your fluid IQ will actually peak at around your early to mid 20s and then kind of fall off a cliff. Not literally, but it's only going to get worse as you do get older. So most of you right now are probably approaching that peak point. You are going to be more well equipped to problem solve at your current age or coming age than ever again. If you're fairly younger, like 14, you still have a little bit of ways to go. You're still on the upward trend, which is awesome. But I'm kind of approaching my peak point, and then it's just downward for the next 50 or 60 years, depending how long you live. Kind of morbid, but it actually gives some insight as to why older people can't really get into technology as easily, is because their fluid IQ isn't as good. They can't just pick up and learn things as easily as they could when they were younger. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.